Excellencies, distinguished delegates, I declare open the fourth plenary meeting of the special session of the Assembly. I know that it has been a long day for all of you, and I would do my best to conclude the plenary so swiftly as possible. Before we proceed to the main business of this meeting, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the deposit by Seychelles of its instrument of acceptance of the 7 amendments to the Rome Statute on 1st July 2025. The UN Secretary General sent notification of this action on 7th July, which the Secretariat circulated earlier today. I wish to congratulate Seychelles of its timely acceptance of the Kampala amendments, and that brings the number of states parties having ratified or accepted the amendments on the crime of aggression to 49. This afternoon we will hear a progress report by the coordinator of the working group on the Kampala review, and we will have the introduction of the draft resolutions that are before the Assembly. The Assembly will now consider Agenda Item 9, review of the amendments on the crime of aggression. We will first hear a oral progress report by the coordinator of the working group on the Kampala review, Ambassador Juan Jose Quintana, who will present an overview of the progress of the work of the working group. Ambassador, you have the floor.
Muchas gracias, señora Presidenta.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
After a hard day of work, we have heard each other, made and answered questions, and seen real proposals on the table that have paved the way to reveal important legal questions that needed to be addressed at this special session so that we could see the most critical points of interest for all state parties. Right now, you all are aware, we have before the special session 2 separate draft resolutions, both of them subject of changes by their authors, both of them duly circulated by the Secretariat. And at this point, Madam President, I think it wouldn't be timely to formally introduce those resolutions. Perhaps that is better left for tomorrow. I am convinced that we have come this far for a reason, and that there are enough elements to come to a creative solution, as many of you have requested, that overcomes the challenge of strengthening the court's effectiveness and to deliver an outcome that is up to that challenge. In order to make progress, we will need you to come to this room tomorrow with the best disposition and bring solutions, bridge-building solutions to the set of options that have been put forward today by the proponents, which certainly make up for a very rich discussion. I encourage bilateral consultations among delegations. I am always open for consultations with all of you, and please, I beg you to have the maximum flexibility and request that you have it from your capitals so that we can all report on a significant outcome, not only to our superiors, but to our people and our stakeholders. Thank you very much, Madam President.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Quintana. I do recognize that the negotiations before are complex and challenging. Nonetheless, it is encouraging to note that some progress has been achieved. I urge all delegations to continue their constructive engagement with a view to reaching a mutually acceptable outcome, and thus, as was also mentioned by Ambassador Quintana. He mentioned that a more detailed introduction of resolutions will happen tomorrow. Of course, I think everybody in this room are up to date where we stand now with those 2 draft resolutions. We acknowledge that there are ongoing consultations, and I understand that these resolutions are still subject to revision. The expectation is that the Assembly will take up and act upon these draft resolutions in the form they stand after these consultations at the 5th plenary meeting scheduled for tomorrow afternoon. Distinguished colleagues, I wish to now invite the Chair of the Credentials Committee to present an oral interim report on the work of the Credentials Committee. Let us thus proceed to agenda item 5B, report of the Credentials Committee. I give the floor to the Chair of the Credentials Committee, Mr. Franz Zubieta of Bolivia, to present the interim report of the Credentials Committee.
Señora Presidenta.
Madam Chair, distinguished delegates, the Credentials Committee has held its first meeting. It did so on the 7th of July 2025. The committee had before it an regularly updated memoranda by the Secretariat regarding the credentials of representatives of states parties to the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court, to the special session on the review of the amendments on the crime of aggression. The committee wishes to report to the Assembly that as of today, the 9th of July, says the Speaker, 2025, at 4:30 p.m., formal credentials of representatives to the special session on the review of the amendments on the crime of aggression issued by a head of state or government or by the Minister of Foreign Affairs as provided for in Rule 24 of the Rules of Procedure of the Assembly of States Parties to the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court have been submitted to the Secretariat by the following 73 states parties: Germany, Andorra, Armenia, Australia, Austria, Bangladesh, Barbados, Belgium, Bolivia, Brazil, Bulgaria, Burkina Faso, Canada, Czechia, Chile, Cyprus, Colombia, Costa Rica, Croatia, Denmark, Ecuador, El Salvador, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, Estonia, Finland, France, Georgia, Ghana, Greece, Guatemala, Guyana, Iceland, Ireland, Italy, Japan, Jordan, Kenya, Latvia, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, Luxembourg, North Macedonia, Malawi, Malta, Mexico, Mongolia, Montenegro, Nigeria, Norway, New Zealand, Netherlands, Paraguay, Peru, Poland, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, the Republic of Korea, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, the Dominican Republic, Romania, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Marino, Senegal, Serbia, Sierra Leone, South Africa, Sweden, Switzerland, Timor-Leste, Ukraine, Uruguay, and the United Republic of Tanzania. Information concerning the appointment of the representatives of states parties to the special session on the review of the amendments on the crime of aggression of the Assembly of States Parties has been communicated to the Secretariat by means of a cable, telefax, or other electronic communication method from the head of state or government or from the Minister for Foreign Affairs by the following 22 states parties: Albania, Argentina, Belize, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Botswana, Cabo Verde, Côte d'Ivoire, Djibouti, the State of Palestine, Gambia, Guinea, Liberia, Madagascar, Mali, Nauru, Panama, Portugal, Republic of Moldova, Tunisia, Uganda, Vanuatu, Venezuela, and Djibouti. In this regard, the Credentials Committee recommends that the Assembly accept the credentials of the representatives of the states parties that I have mentioned, on the understanding that those states parties that have not yet done so will submit formal credentials to the Secretariat as soon as possible. Madam Chair, President, this concludes the interim report of the Credentials Committee. Thank you.
I thank the Chair of the Credentials Committee for introducing the interim report. May I take it that the Assembly takes note of the interim report of the Credentials Committee? I recognize Portugal.
Thank you, Madam President. Just to clarify that Portugal has indeed submitted the original document of credentials on the 20th of June in The Hague, and we had received a confirmation in written by email. So I would request the report to be corrected accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you. That information is indeed relevant, and we would take note, and I take it that the Credentials Committee will take that also into account in the final report. With this additional information, I don't see any objection that we would take the note of the report. It is so decided.